Dancing along to the Spice Girls. You could not. If a Spice Girls tune came on in the 90s, you could not just sit there. You had to get up and dance. So sporty, ginger, scary, baby, posh. Where do the Spice Girls sit in the pantheon of great artists, great bands? Are they up there with the likes of the Beatles, the Stones, and Oasis? I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want. Who writes this stuff? Who writes this? It's for you to pick up the phone this morning. Number to call, 03700 100 110. You can text the show, 81012. Emails, jason@bbc.co.uk. I know you love a music chat here on the phone-in. Right then, let's see what's out there. Martin says, the Spice Girls were a group, not a band. Get it right, Jason. They didn't play any instruments. Thank you, Martin. Are you sure they didn't play guitar? Swinkle Star says, how on earth can you call the Spice Girls a band? Jason, they don't feature at all in my favourite groups. They were okay at the time. For the 6 to 14-year-olds, I think I was 21 at the time, there were so many good bands at the same time, remember. The Manics, Oasis, Blur. Spice Girls wouldn't be on any of my playlists. And Lloyd says, I'm sure this group of women are fine people, but they cannot be considered to be in the same musical class as our Wales geniuses, Ellen Fleer, Fleer David, Mary Hopkin, Bonnie Tyler. I could go on and on, says Lloyd. Thank you, Lloyd. Right then, let's talk to Jessica Biggs, who is with me now, music journalist who blogs under the handle Musicvein. Good morning to you, Jessica.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's very good to have you. Where do the Spice Girls sit then for you in the pantheon of great British artists?
Oh my gosh, they are right up there. I can't believe it's been 25 years. I actually feel really old.
I know.
But it is something that I look back on with fondness. And I mean, they are definitely one of the greatest groups out there, and they really should have more recognition than they've had. Yes, they've had like a few Brit Awards for video and music, but they really should be getting more. I mean, when they came out, they were fresh and exciting, and there was something for girls of the 90s to look up to. I mean, before that, it was the Bangles and Bananarama, Salt and Pepper that we kind of had coming through from the 80s, but they didn't really identify with 90s girls at the time. And, you know, when they came onto the scene, they had so many different characters that they were emanating, so many attitudes that the girls could pick up on that, and then they could see at least one of them within, you know, something of themselves within one of the Spice Girls. So if you wanted to be posh and glam, you could be Posh Spice, and if you wanted to be a tomboy, or if you were a tomboy, then you would, you know, you would look up to Sporty, and if you were in your face, you were scary. You know, you could pick one of the Spice Girls at least to just be like, and they kind of, you know, you had, after that you had, they paved the way for other girl groups around them, so you had Girls Aloud and Sugar Babes, but they were more about sex appeal and looking great, whereas with the Spice Girls, as I say, they were emanating so many different characters, but they also taught girls about you know, feminism, and to hold each other up, accept who you are, be who you want to be, and that was the thing that we were kind of, you know, we were grabbing for. So I think they definitely should be way up there and get more recognition. You know, give them Best British Group and Global Success Awards and Group of a Generation. They need it all.
And also, you're right, because they talked openly, didn't they, about girl power as well.
Yeah.
But also, some of those pop records, they were just utterly fantastic. I've been telling my team here, you know, I was a student back in the 90s, and I was an indie boy, so I was into all the Stone Roses and the Oasis and all that sort of stuff as well. But if you're on a night out and a Spice Girls tune came on in a bar in Cardiff, everyone was up. Fact.
Absolutely. It was so true. You know, who doesn't want to be shouting out, I wanna, you know, and Say You'll Be There. That is my favourite one. So, yes, definitely, as soon as a Spice Girl track comes on, no matter male or female, you are on that dance floor and you are singing with your glass in your hand, lipstick, whatever.
Yeah. Well, my girls play Spice Girls tunes now. You know, they're 17 and 11, almost 12, and they play the Spice Girls tunes now, and they've not dated. They're proper cracking pop tunes, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, and as for them touring again, that would be absolutely amazing, because they really still do have their place here in music. And yes, as you say, they're being discovered by, you know, the younger generation on things like TikTok. You know, my daughter, she's play some David Bowie song, and then doesn't understand why I'm singing along to it while she's doing her TikTok dance. So, you know, old music is still being discovered by a new generation, and the Spice Girls are as well. So, and they are born by, women of the 80s and 90s who actually want to pass that nostalgia on to their children now. So, yay, come back.
Yeah, quite right. Jessica, stay with me because I'm going to take some calls. Let's go to Stephen in Cardiff. Morning, Steve. How are you?
Good, thanks, Jason. How are you?
Good to have you, Stephen. Is it the first time you called the show?
It is.
Legend. Welcome to our family, Stephen. That's our tradition here. Jessica, in case you've never heard the show before, when we get a new caller, we say, welcome to the phone-in family. And Stephen, it's your first time. So off you go, Steve. What do you think?
The Spice Girls are nowhere near as good as the Beatles or millions of other bands. They're a bit of fun, a media creation. I suppose the Beatles were a created band, but the difference is they were absolutely geniuses at songwriting and playing instruments, and the Spice Girls, did a bit of dancing around, changed their costumes, and it's not much better than rubbish, really, but big respect to them.
Oh, wow, this is what we like. This is a good debate. This is going to be. Right, Jessica, come back in.
Okay, I'm absolutely wounded with everything he said. No, really, okay. I agree with you on the Beatles, that they were a fantastic band, songwriting, playing music, really good. But they were of the 60s, and they were male as well, so young girls could not. They would look up to them, but for different reasons.
The young girls really loved them, didn't they? They were like a young girls band,
They did, yes, exactly. But then as you're coming into the 90s, the Beatles were a lot older, and the music was rock. It was very, very different. You wouldn't go on the dance floor. Well, to some of the songs you'd go and you'd rock out, but we needed the Spice Girls to come in and give us something fresh and something new, something zinging, and that's what they did.
Well, I don't agree, but you argue your point very well, Jessica.
Well, what we have to do is we have to remember the time as well, Stephen. Look, let's be honest. The Spice Girls weren't better than the Beatles. We know that, right? That's a fact. Yeah. But what you have to do is you have to remember the context of the time. Jessica's quite right in talking about, as a young woman, looking up to the Spice Girls was a big thing because they openly talked about girl power. And also, remember this as well, Stephen, that I was very much part of this as well. It was a very laddie culture in that 90s until the Spice Girls came steaming onto the culture scene, because you had the Loaded magazine, you had Liam and Noel blasting out incredible tunes, you had the Stone Roses, you had the old baggy drum beat thing from the Happy Mondays. So at the time, it was real change, Steve.
You're right, it was a very, very laddish culture, and that's positive, but there were loads of much better female artists with much more interesting and profound things to say.
Well, you said millions of other bands they were better than. Really? Millions? Like who?
Well, do you want me to list the millions?
Well, we're on air till 11. How many have you got? This is rude. I can't believe he's doing this. How many have you got? Come on, then fire off some bands that are better than the Spice Girls.
Oh, Led Zeppelin. Do you want bands with do you want bands
whatever. You fire them away, baby.
Okay, all right then. Joni Mitchell, Chrissie Hynde, Debbie Harry,
Sanders, Blondie. Yeah. Okay.
Let's think. There's loads.
So basically, what you're saying, what you're saying is that it sounds like Jessica wants to come back in. Jessica.
No, I was just saying, come on, give us some pop ones, because they were all rock that he was mentioning. And yes, they were all fantastic, but one, they were solo, so you would only have one type of girl who would emanate to them. And again, it was just rock, and it was an older time.
Maybe. I mean, there's a band like the Cause, which I don't really like, a little bit middle of the road, but they're good. They're good at what they do. Like, I would say a band like them are far better than, the Stays, some of those sort of folky bands. Someone like Fairport Convention. What was her name? Sandy Denny. There's been brilliant artists from all genres. Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald. I mean,
Right, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take some more calls. I tell you what we're going to do because the phone lines have lit up. So, listen, thank you very much indeed for joining us, Jessica Biggs. Really lovely to talk to you. That's